del Baba Hussein, tengo 15 años. A mí me gusta el hip hop, el rap.
They want the tapes. They're not gonna let us live without the tapes. Porque están mintiéndole el cariño. Yo he desaparecido todas las cosas por el bien de ustedes, ¿me entienden?
The bigger our story got, the harder the POLISARIO will try to find the tapes.
Esclavitud hombre por hombre es el más pena del mundo. Tú tienes que saber eso, ¿sabes? Pero existe aquí.
The plan was for our contact to then smuggle the tapes to the neighbouring country of Mauritania.
بالعني أنا خالي شوماخر. مايكل شوماخر عنه خالي.
Y en ese momento los invadieron y ella llevó a Fetín para acá.
أنا مذوق الماركين ومن واحد من ذوق الماركين.
Y aquí nunca nadie ha dicho si tiene esclavos tienen que ir a la cárcel, nunca nadie ha dicho.
And when we called Matala and Salem and told them our contact hadn't shown up with the tapes, they said they wanted to come to Mauritania and would record their stories again.
And there is no slave in the camps.
For me, if the slavery is still existing, it's a shame on the whole humanity.
Cuando ustedes enseñan el film y ellos vienen tal a nosotros, ustedes no escuchan eso. Y dicen que es una mentira. Ahora mira si es mentira o verdad.
These people have lied.
Eso es lo que queremos nosotros, que ya no exista este tema, que ya se borre, que sea del pasado, pero que no sea del presente ni del futuro.
The first place I visited is a refugee camp called 27 de Febrero, and it struck me for the first time how desolate this place is. I can't imagine how people can live here where nothing can grow. We visited a Sahrawi family who were separated after the invasion, and we discovered that this was a very common story among the people living here. When I talked to the woman, I felt a connection with their loss. I could understand their anxiety and the need to find who they are and where they belong.
Sí, le he visto en las fotos y es una vieja.
My father left when I was a little girl and my mother died when I was 16. When I told my story to this woman, we shared the same feelings, and they could understand why I was making this film. They wanted to know how I felt the first time I saw my father. I told them how difficult it can be to recover the years that had passed, but how important it is to do this, because then you can understand who you really are. When you realize that slavery exists and how it works, this is a problem.
Yeah, the family name is sort of lost. It's with the master.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the whole issue of when there is slavery.
But
Yes.
at the time, they didn't know. We didn't know either. It's like nobody knew at the time.
No, it's not that nobody. Everybody knew that it exists.
the question is this a widespread situation? Are all black Mauritanians, I want to say, because in Mauritania are all black Sahrawi automatically slaves?
I didn't go and look for this. I didn't know that this is happening. I didn't know that Fatim was separated from her mother because she was a slave, and the white woman took the little girl, and I didn't know anything.
Yeah, well, we know these kind of situations, not for an individual, but we know that this exists, and when it comes to our attention, we follow up. And if you know, and what is the most important for us is to be present in the camps, and we are present in the camps. We have reports from officers who talk to the people. We have reports from officers where it was brought to the attention of the police. But as I said, I'm convinced that this practice exists, but I don't think this is something which is widely spread in a way that all black-colored refugees are being discriminated. So I think the only way we can get together is to make sure that these things are not happening. And for example, what we are doing, we are having training, workshops, training for people working in the judicial system of the Polisario to make them aware of human rights. We have workshops for them.
And in the Article 4 of the UN Declaration of Human Rights says that no one shall be held in slavery of servitude. The slavery and slave trade shall be forbidden in all their forms.
Absolutely.
But what's happening there?
But
you were there since 1995.
Once again, I told you, I mean, we are going in circles because you
don't even want to watch what I want to...
No, I want to watch it, but I don't need to watch it now. I know that practices are existing. I also know if the practices are being brought to our attention that we follow up. This is our work. You cannot change a culture which is not only existing in the camps, but which is existing in a society. You cannot come out in from the outside, either from the UN, nor from, I don't know where you're, Australia, or and just say, okay, this has to change. We are all aware this has to change. There's no doubt. And I'm the first one really to I'm fully in agreement if you can bring it to the public that these practices has to stop. I'm fully with you, no problem. But I think we're both working in the same direction. You want that these practices are being condemned, and that's the same with UNHCR. So why should there be any conflict?
But they were not doing that. They were not doing...
It's not that, I mean, I can tell you, if you have to assist 100,000 refugees in the camps, it may be not the, how can I say, maybe not the highest priority on the daily basis, but I would completely disagree with you that if it is being brought to the attention of UNHCR, that UNHCR would say this is not our business.
But they didn't want to meet with them. They say that the business.
But they did. I can, as you said, you would show me. I can give you a note for the files where they met with the refugees on this issue. They did. You may think
but
you have discovered.
No, it's not my perception. I'm talking to you that like I say to you, I have like just in a little thing that I got. I have 13 people saying I'm a slave, and what's happening to them. They take away the kids.
You go to Mauritania, you go out of the camps, you will find the same.
But we not something. But this is not a refugee camp. Mauritania, it's a country.
No, what I want to tell you, it's a cultural issue which is existing, and that's what I try to do. This is not something you can abolish from one day to the other. This is something which needs a long time, and it has to come from the people.
But the first thing should be accepting publicly that this is happening. That
but I told you.
It's not a cultural. It's not a cultural problem.
It's what?
It's not a cultural
but
problem.
It's what?
Like
what
it's a human problem.
Yes.
It's a real problem that there is no laws that protecting these refugees, that they are a minority in a refugee camp. It's not a cultural problem.
But I assume this is being made for the public, so we will see it. So, but I don't. I mean, I'm working in this kind of situation for so many years, so I don't need, to see it now on the screen. I believe, as I told you from the beginning, these practices exist not only in the camps, but also in the camps, as they exist in the surrounding. In Mauritania, there's a big debate about it, as there are many other practices which are against basic human rights, which exist, and we have to combat, and that's what we are doing.
So does the UN have? What are you going to do?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I just said this is our daily life. When we are,
completely.
For example, if we're aware,
question.
if, for example, we are in a camp and something is being brought to our attention, we bring it to the police officers. And there is, for example, I have a report where it was brought to the attention of the police. Whenever there's an issue of rape.
Are you talking about UN police officers or POLISARIO police officers?
No, POLISARIO, because we don't have any UN police officers. As I told you already, we have workshops and trainings for the POLISARIO authorities, so that they're aware that they have mechanisms in place how to combat slavery. But it's also, as I said, it's broader than this. It's a more public issue. And you may not agree with it. I still think even it is a human right to vote, but it's still cultural limited, like female genital mutilation. So again, you are asking for something which I'm fully in agreement, but maybe where we have a bit of a difference is who can change that, how long it will take, which effort it is. And I think probably your documentary would be a part of it. You know, it would be part of it to make this happen, to make the change, and to alert and to raise attention.
But you're there since 1991, and until now you have done anything with regards to this?
There have been prosecutions because of this. There has been police officers tracing people who had slaves. I mean, this is what I have received as reports. People don't disagree by saying that it exists. Nobody's denying its existence because, as again I said, it's part of this human rights abuse is part of this specific culture.
Some of them, they say that they were very afraid because justice will never be, like, the justice will give the reason to their masters.
So what would you think we should do?
I believe that you should start, like you know, talking to the POLISARIO and talking to the people who want to talk to you.
Well, we talk to the Minister of Interior of POLISARIO.
But when they call you, when these black people have been calling you, you've been refusing their calls.
Like, this is again where I disagree with you, because you cannot say we are refusing.
But I was there.
The first thing is that the refugees have to let us know that there is something wrong and they want us to help them. And we will do this. This is what we're doing all over the world.
Just 90,000 refugees, if they say that they are the 10%, I think the UN has the capacity to go and talk to every black family and see what's happening. Like, we're talking about 9,000 people, and I think
that's
11 years have passed,
and then the next.
And then the next, force or talk to the POLISARIO to do a rule to
say
slavery is
and that's what we are doing.
And then people should start to taking these cases to court, and this problem will be sorted out, I don't know, in 10
But that's
20
exactly what we're doing. We have meetings with the Minister of Interior, with the Minister of Justice of POLISARIO. We were talking about these issues. If you just bring it from the outside, the reaction will be immediately defense. POLISARIO will say, no, it doesn't exist. We have our procedures. The ones who feel discriminated will say all of us are in the same situation. The ones who don't feel discriminated, they will say all of us are in the same situation. So it's a process which takes a long time. And I mean, you bring your contribution by alerting and by preparing the documentary, which I think it's one step, in the right direction.
أنا باغي تحرير الناس الخضر خاصة. أنا باغي الناس الخضر في الصحراء يعودوا أحرار، يعودوا رسم مرفوعين فوق، يطالبوا بتحريرهم، يطالبوا بسيادتهم، يطالبوا بكرامتهم. ما أنا باقينهم يتموا قاعدين يحاولوا انهم يحرروا هم من نفوسهم. لازمهم يحرروا روسهم، لازمهم يقوموا مع روسهم. احنا تكلمنا عنهم بالعالم، تكلمنا عنهم في كل بلد، وهم احنا نتكلموا عنهم من اجلهم. لازمهم عنهم يقوموا معانا ويعدلوا معانا الشيء باش العالم يعاونهم، والعالم ضد هاي المسألة، ضد هاي العبودية، ضد هذا الملك، ضد هذا السلب والنهب. ضد الواقع الأجداد وأجداد أجداد وضده. أنا ماني ماس من أي حكم دولة، من أي مشاكل خارجية داخلية، ماني ضدها. ضد يعني ذا الرق، ضد يعني هذا الملك. وأنا باقي العالم يشوف ويستطلع ويراعي ويعود معانا ويدفع معانا وكلاش عن هذه المسألة يخص توف أخبارها يا
Me llamo Sultana Abdallah el Mami, tengo 15 años y soy mauritana, y me acuerdo que cuando yo era pequeña mi madre me dio a una familia saharaui y esa familia me llevó al Sahara y me cambiaron los apellidos y la edad.
¿Qué apellido te pusiste?
Sultana el Bardi.
¿Cuántos años tenías tú?
Yo creo que tenía 6. Sí, 6. Sí, he estado ahí 3 años. 6, creo. Y durante esos 3 años pues he estado ahí arreglando los animales, limpiando, haciéndole la comida. Y encima, me acuerdo una vez que cuando fui a darle la comida a los animales, pues no sé, que había una piedra y me tropecé y me caí, ¿no? Entonces, un hombre que había ahí pues empezó a pegarme con una cuerda. Me acuerdo que me dejaban marcas en la espalda y que dolían mucho. Ellos me dijeron que yo dijera que era saharaui, que no dijera que mi familia estaba en Mauritania, ni que yo estaba ahí trabajando con ellos, y que dijera que yo vivía en una familia normal saharaui, que yo era saharaui, aunque cuando llegué aquí no se lo creyeron.
No, yo al principio sí me creí que tú eras saharaui. Yo fue con una conversación que tuvimos con la representante de la mujer saharaui cuando celebramos tu cumpleaños. Sí. Ella quería que la invitáramos a comer paella, y en el transcurso de esa comida ella me dijo: Sultana no es saharaui, Sultana es mauritana y es esclava de la familia que la tiene. Entonces me monté en un avión y me fui a los campamentos a ver exactamente qué es lo que estaba pasando. No sabía nada, yo tenía una dirección. Fuimos a Layún y de Layún fuimos a Enmara en un coche a buscar a la familia. Y mi sorpresa fue muy grande cuando me encontré que la que decía que era su madre era una señora blanca.
Decían que las negras valían menos que las blancas.
¿Quién te decía?
Eso me lo decían ahí. Que yo solo valgo ahí para limpiarles y para hacer lo que ellos me digan.
¿Por qué eras negra o qué?
Sí, porque era negra y era diferente a ellos y que no les llegaba ni siquiera al cuello. Que yo solo había nacido para ser, solo había nacido para ser esclava de ellos.
هاي كفاية المهور هاي بايعها واحد لك اسمع واشتراها واحد ورحل بها بنته ومن وعدت الطفلة ما بغت تعطيها ومنين عمتها ومن الساعة اللي باها وأنا أتصور عنها لين ظهرت في أخبار وقصته اليوم أنا ما جيتك لاحق عليها أشوف العليات قلت لهم شوفوا يجرش ورا يرفضون غادي وجاية ماني قد أنا أطلع ولا أني قد ما انقص ياك سمعتي واليوم ولعت قد نيتي الصبيان ها الصبيان لاحق عليها قالت إن شاء الله وراه اللي يهتم تجيك ولا هي كذا ولا يهتم جيك تبات عندك ديالك تسندك وكل شيء الساعة قاعد نتشل ما تلقى شفتها تمنى همها والله تلقى ويدي كيف هاي المرأة الله كيف هاي المرأة ياك شفتها بعد من جهة تقول دني بعد بالسيفة تيس أنا وراكم الجي وراكم لكم تخالي قول لي داتي لا تخالي اليوم اللي لحقت على المليت خليها يعملها كويس يعملها هم البيضان الحمد لله يرسلوهم قاعد ماتوا من ينعود في الرحبة.
مشات 25 عام قد
73 على راسها 73 على راسها 73.
ايوه خلاص
بايعينها وحدين يقولوا لهم الخطر ولد عبد الله بعد شاريها واحد عم هاي المرأة اللي هي عندها هاي المرأة اللي هي عندها شاريها عمها وعطاها لها هي تقريبا عندها شيء 42 أو 43 ولكن بلا عقل ما هي عاقلة ما هي كاسة عقلها لو كانت اللي كاسة عقلها.
قالت شحال من عام شفتها؟
شحال من عام تقريبا شيء 35 ولا 36 والله قاعد 37 جينا حاب بعد جيت وانا 3 مرات سابق مفاجات الوالده وانا 3 مرتين سابق مفاجأة امهم قاست ما امها تعرف حالتها هذه هي مشيت
عندكم تصاورها
سبحان الله
كيف الجمايله
قالت لك سميتها هي
اسمها مبوريكة
هي اسمها مشات من عندها هي اسمها مبوريكة سميتها هي بنفسها اهلها اللي كانت عندهم سماوها مبوريكة وضريك الان مسمينها هذا وسلموا لها
عطاوها لوجهك انتم عندهم منين تموت بطبيعه الحال هاي ما حد يعطيك لها صحه حق بعد يا عم ما تضيق نقول لك قضيه هذيك عيشه وهذه كلهم قاص قبيله في مثل تشتري كيما قلت لك انا عندي اخواتي متشتات هذاك هما كانوا يعدوا هاي الحاله قلنا هذه الحاله ديال الناس ذو البيض كانوا منين تود عندهم خادم يحكموا حاشاك لك في الغنم تولد وتفطم ويشير عندهم ابيض خلق مالك خادم يقد منين يتخيم منتم واحده من البنات تتعرض لصدري يرحلوا بك الخادم لا كاين مفطوم ولا كي لك طيفه ولا كي تركيه.
قالت لك سميت العائله اللي عندهم الطفله
الخطره هذا العائله اللي عندها الطفله عند منت الكنتاوي منت حبيب ولا الكنتاوي المهم هي لا بغات تمشي تقسم احنا لقينا نعطوا لها بالقدام بغات مولي نمشيو معاها شاورهم
الله رزقهم بعد اذا قدوا يعطوا الصهرنا والله اذا نبغيه هو ما قدوا قلنا لله ولا رجعهم
انت كاع ما تمشي وين انا ماشي انت واش احسن
لا نمشي انا ومريم باش تطلع مريم معاهم تنقر على الناس وانا اللي هنا صافي السلام عليكم زين كيفكم؟ ياك لباس الحمد لله تبارك الله الله يخسرها وش كيفك بعد ياك لباس؟ برا لا سليم الحمد لله تبارك الله أول تقبلنا إله تكلموا معاه لباس احنا عائلة طفيلة هذه رانا جينا هون مرات الوالدة أول لا جينا وتو اختاروا اختي قبل جاي لأن نتكلموا معاه.
ما يصير صحة ما يمشي
لاحقة أخلاقية لا تعود تجي لأمها تم تصور رحمها بحال قلت للوالدة ذو نهارات قلت لها عنها يا الله قلت لها عنها تم يجيبها لها حد إلين تصور رحمها وتفوت معاها شيء تغر عينها منها وراي كانوا يقيسوكم هي مشات صاحبة الوالد ايه ايوه احنا ما فرصنا شيء ولد الاجوال هي الكبده لا وحده وراي شافت الوالد اسمع شوف يا الجيد الوالدة راي لي والدتك والله ماني عارفة مولاة الدار بعد راي شافت الوالدة ضعيف.
Si no está aquí, ¿dónde está? Él nos tiene que avisar dónde está.
Pero esto, él no sabe nada, él dice...
قالت هي غير فعل ما تلمها ذاك هو اللي يبقى في خلاقنا احنا ما جاب يمشينا حد. انا جاد ما جاد غير تقدر تمشينا حد من الطافلات والله المعاين والله تعيط لعويشه هذيك وتقول لها هاكي اقبضوا يد هذا الطفله ومشي لحكي لامها لين تفوت معاها. انا قلت قبيل لا والناس اللي جاوا اليوم قبيل منين جبت لهم هايك العزوز رافدتها لا فوق الصحق ظهري قبيل منين مشات منين ثلاث تمشي طفيله حجبوها تعيط للطفيله هذه والله يعيطها حد من المعالي يقول لها قبضي يد هاي الطفيله ومشي بها لحقي
خاصة تشوف اللي ما شافته اللي تبقى هنا هنا تشوف الحل شنو هو. خليه تشوفه خليه تمشي عنك.
ما قاعد طالع بالكاميرا شوف
ما عندها ما تدي.
طالع بالكاميرا ولا يطالع بشي تطلع.
راح تتكلم.
هي ما يهون تصيد.
يا غير راي يجي وقت ثاني نعود للصبح والله.
قال لك عنه راي يجي الصبح.
ورانا نقولوا له ولكن هذيك راهي ما تسمع. هذه ما تفهم الفهم ولا شيء كامل ولكن ما تفهم وهي عندها.
ما كان بركي ولا لا قاعد
ما نفهم حنا نتكلم لك. مع الساعة قاعدة في العشية بس يجوم هما. صح. Sí, de mañana por la tarde y habla con ella.
أنا خلاقة في موريتان.
She's born in Mauritania.
أنا خلاقة في موريتان وأمي يعدي بها الهي والدي يعدي بهم الهي.
Our family is in Mauritania.
وأخوتي باعوني باعتني ذيك موريتان باعتني جاي لهذه الأرض ذي.
قالت لك بحالاش مشاو مناتك من هون تيا هوك. بحالاش مشاو هما من هون لهوك شاد.
بحالاش مشاو أنا باعوني أهلي الناس اللي خلايق عندهم مناتي باعوني عام 72 باعوني.
هاي الساعة منين باعوك عندك مناتك هاو؟
حق باعوني بقاوة مناتي عندهم قاوة تركتي عندهم
عند الناس هادو
حق وانا ضريكاتي
قولي عندك مناتك وكم من سنه مرضوا فرحوا عنك
واسمي انا اصلي جايه مسروقه من قبل الصغير ومبدل اسمي سعيد. لا هو اسمي سمعتي هو وتوف اصلي جايه مسروقه من قبل الصغير.
من عام صراحه
يضربوني وعي عليهم الاصفر
يلي الله يقول وهاو اللي شرع مناتي.
ايه مناتي بقى
بغيتي
اسمي شوف واحده اسمها حيمه والثانيه اسمها السويك
وتكلمي مع الكاميرا.
نتكلم مع عزاء.
خليها
والثاني اسمها فويطين فهاد جاتنا في الصياد وفي العيون والصغارات في الداخل ومعاهم مربيتهم يقول لها النون.
هذا الزمان اللي فات
قالوا هو خبر عزمان اللي شباب من قبل
ساكنين مع الناس اللي مربينهم.
ساكنين مع الناس مربينهم.
اللي مرة حق مربيتهم.
مربيتهم كاع مزاتهم.
Queremos libertad.
شتي قول عني دائما تخمم عني مشيت عنهم وزلت صغيرة. وقولها نذكر أمي ذيك الساعة لا شوي بعد لا في الخيال قول نذكر بها تمشي بيا شرب في السوق تشري من الدابة.
The filmmakers Violeta Ayala and Dan Falshaw join us. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Fran.
If I can ask you, Dan, you went to the Western Sahara to record a family reunion, but you say you found modern-day slavery instead. What exactly do you mean by that?
I guess within the camps, the Black Sahrawis they consider themselves, some of them consider themselves slaves, and that means that they are actually owned by somebody else, that they're the property of another person.
And Violeta, what does that mean in real life, to be owned by somebody?
Well, I think the definition of modern-day slavery, I don't know if that's correct. I think that this is old centuries slavery that kept continue and modified or in different manifestations. Being a slave is a person that actually it's owned by someone else.
Let's look at that, because in the movie clearly the people who you describe as enslaved, as owned by somebody else, seem to have freedom of movement. They seem to have their own lives going on. For instance, Fatim is a teacher. She has a life. She lives in her own house with her own family. What about that is slavery?
Well, we covered within the film. We actually cover Fatim's story that she's a teacher. Being a slave doesn't preclude the freedom of movement. Boubacar Massoud, who's a long-time anti-slavery campaigner in Mauritania, has said that publicly several times. But I think it was very difficult for us to get our heads around what slavery meant while we were in the camps. And it really is, for people outside of... it's so difficult to explain in a short time.
The last definition of Anti-Slavery International, one of the things that said it's physically and mentally constrained, put restriction, and doesn't necessarily preclude the freedom of movement.
Okay.
I think also the film doesn't say that Fatim is or is not a slave. Her mother and her sister say that she's a slave. The film shows, I think the only person who knows is Fatim, and you know.
Well, Fatim says that everything in the film is not true. She says she's not a slave, and she says that in the back end of your film.
Yeah. And there is 9 people in the film that talk about slavery. This film, it's about our experiences, chronicles our story and what happened to us and how the people came to us and tell us this story. It's not, it's about every viewer of the film to make up their own mind.
And one thing that confused me, or I was wondering as I watched the film, is Fatim is still there. She clearly misses her mother and her sisters, but she stayed in the camp for 30 years. What's your understanding of why she is there? Are you saying that's linked to the fact that she's enslaved?
Fatim was separated from her mother when she was 3 years old. She didn't travel to the camps until she was a little older. She was taken away from her mother because Mbaka, Fatim's mother, was a slave to Dado's father. And Dado, from what Mbaka told us, always wanted Fatim as her own. And she took her away from Mbaka when she was 3 years old.
But why didn't Fatim leave?
No. You can't leave.
You can't leave the refugee camps.
So you're saying Fatim was not allowed to leave, and that's why she's still there?
The refugee camps have been running for 30 years, and the people who live there feel that it's their responsibility and their duty to the Polisario and the Sahrawi cause to remain in the camps and to fight for independence.
I don't necessarily, like, Fatim never met her mother or didn't remember what's a mother. A mother for her is this woman who took her to the camps. If somebody takes my kid, regardless if they put her in a palace or make it a king, still they are committing a human rights crime. They're taking away my kid. Fatim does not have a bond with her mother, or doesn't. To me, appears that she doesn't, and that's why it's very hard. If the only mother that you know is this woman, that in one hand she punishes you, and in another hand she gives whatever you have, it's very hard. She is in a terrible situation. I feel very, very sorry for her.
Okay, well, she's here in Australia, as we said. She was brought out by the Polisario. She was at the film festival last night. Let's have a listen to her.
Practically everything in the film is not true, that she's a slave, that her mother is a slave.
Everything in the film is not true. She was there speaking through a translator. What does it do to you to hear that?
When we first saw that retraction and the statement she made in a video, we were devastated. I didn't know what to think. Really,
But it's not the first time you heard it. It's captured in the film. In the film you show her daughter clearly scared and upset, saying to you, you tried to do good but you did bad. So that was while you were filming. Did that make you stop? Did you realise then that you were impacting on their lives?
We felt we had a moral obligation to tell their story. Lael, who was on the phone to in that scene you're referring to, was extremely upset at that time. And they're not the only people who told us their stories. There are several people in the film who spoke out against slavery, and they wanted their stories heard. There was a group of men who travelled 2,000 kilometres across the desert to come and tell their stories to us when we didn't know whether or not our tapes were stolen and we could tell their story. They wanted to tell their story again in case that happened.
And that's true, and that's very strong. They say they have no legal rights. They say it's time to stand up. They say that the women folk can't get married because they are enslaved. But this is all denied by the Polisario, and it's even denied to some extent by the UN person you speak to there at the camps?
Well, the UN, when they talk about slavery in the camps on the ground, they say that the implication is that they didn't know it existed. But when we travelled to the UN in Geneva, the Deputy Director for North Africa said that they know it exists, they know it happens in the camps, but also in the area where the camps exist.
But Human Rights Watch, which investigated this after your movie, using your film as a lot of their evidence, said that although they did find some evidence of slavery, particularly regards to marriage, they spoke to the Polisario, who said they were trying to stamp it out.
I think that Human Rights Watch, it's in a very, very difficult political position. You have to read between the lines. I think that they've been going there for 8 years, and they need to keep going there.
I think the Polisario, I'm absolutely thrilled if they can stamp it out. Human Rights Watch reports states that a few places, but it says that the Polisario is on record as firmly opposing slavery in all its manifestations. Nevertheless, it must do more to eradicate residual slavery practices that continue to affect some black residents of the Tindouf camps. They claim it exists, and they say that the Polisario should do more to get rid of it. And the Polisario are on record as saying they want to get rid of it. So I'm all for that. You too have made a movie. In the process of that, you've done what you think is trying to reveal a discrimination, enslavement of people. You've been called all sorts of names for that. Do you feel betrayed by the people who you filmed, who you worked with there? No, if you understand the concept of slavery, it's not a surprise. Fatim's been the subject of systematic abuse her entire life, and we're not surprised that she's come to Australia to say this, although we feel very deeply for her, and we do understand that she didn't want to leave the camps and she didn't want to leave her children behind.
Have you spoken to Fatim since she's been here?
We spoke to her briefly last night, and all she said to us was, they told me not to talk to you.
Another thing, it's that, what I wanted to say, well, it's very, when you understand what slavery means, to be a free person, you need to learn to make decisions and to have your own opinion. They humanize that process on a person. This happens all through North Africa, not just in the Polisario refugee camps. It happens in Mauritania. Much more studies been done there because it's been more Kevin Bales and the Disposable People. It's a great book to read. It's hard, it's tough for her. But this is the modus operandi of the Polisario. It's another case in Spain about Sultana, and Sultana is a girl who claimed that she was a slave, and the Polisario took her mother against Dora. The mother was saying that Sultana is not a slave. It's not the first time.
Okay.
This is the second time internationally for them.
Okay, Violetta and Dan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Filmmakers Violetta Ayala and Dan Falshaw, the makers of the movie called Stolen.